everybody. How are you? It is great to be here again. Um, yeah, it's just great to be here again. I am closing out a few things so we don't have any interruptions. But earlier today when I was working, this song kind of felt like fell into my spirit, and then so I was just like, well, why? Of all songs just like randomly falling into my spirit. And as I was getting myself ready to come on tonight, I was reminded about that song and tonight's topic. And I said, oh, wow, like, okay. So you never know how things are working in your life. Um, and so I'm just going to go ahead and get started. Um, I have meditated, prayed. Um, but I do want to add this prayer to everyone. I thank you, Lord, for tonight. I thank you for letting this message free those who need to be freed. I thank you for loosening their bonds, loosening their shackles, loosening their mental stress, loosening the strongholds that's on their life. I bind up anything that will prohibit their growth. I bind up any person that prohibits the freedom of other people. I bind up their plans, their thoughts, their actions, their words right now, oh God. Any curses that was spoken over everyone that is listening, that is looking, watching, reading the text out of this message, I ask that you free them in the name of Jesus, and that no weapon that is formed against them, whether it be spirit, person, deed, or word, or actual weapon, we bind it up because it will not work. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Um, so my title for tonight is Get Out. And it's a lot of things that people get in and find themselves in simply because of life, of situations, but it doesn't mean that you need to keep yourself there. Um, I don't know why I'm doing a get out because I feel like I do that a lot, but there are still some people that are struggling with what exactly they are being bound to, or what's holding them back. And so I do want to go ahead and get started with that. I have a few note cards, but the scriptures that I'm reading from, for all my biblical heads out there, uh, Mark 12, verses 13 through 19. Um, at the verse, Spirit told me to stop it. I was kind of confused, but he explained it, so I will explain that to y'all as well. But it reads, and again, this is Mark 12, 13 through 19. But they sent some of the Pharisees and the Herodians to him for the purpose of entrapping him in his speech. And him that I'm talking about is Jesus Christ. And they came up and said to him, Teacher, we know that you are sincere in what you profess to be, that you cannot lie, and that you have no personal bias for anyone. For you are not influenced by partiality and have no regard for anyone's external condition or position, but in and on the bias of truth, you teach the way of God. Is it lawful or permissible and right to give tribute, poll taxes to Caesar or not? Should we pay them or should we not pay them? But knowing their hypocrisy, he asked them, Why do you put me to the test? Bring me a coin so I may see it. And in some people's Bibles, it may read denarius. And they brought him one. Then he asked them, Whose image or picture is this? Whose subscription? They said to him, Caesar's. Jesus said to them, pay to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's. And they stood marveling and greatly amazed at him. And Sadducees came to him, who say there is no resurrection. And they asked him a question, saying, Teacher, Moses, and this is the 19th verse, Teacher, Moses gave us a law that if a man's brother died, leaving a wife but no child, the man must marry the widow and raise up offspring for his brother. And I'm going to stop right there. So, as you can see, Jesus saw the trap, the snare that the Sadducees and Herodians were trying to do to him. And instead of him, as we say in modern day, instead of him falling for it, he saw immediately what they were trying to do. And so, we're not doing this today. And he cut it off. He got out of the situation before the situation became a bigger situation and something that he could not handle. Well, actually, he could have handled, but he didn't want there to be any type of disruption amongst the people that was around him and amongst the crowd that followed him. And because, when people like to see you get out of character, that is the way for them to say, see, I told you, look at that. That's not this. That's not that. However you pronounce to the world that I am this way and I am that way, people will push you out of your character so that they can laugh. They will provoke you to getting out of your character. But the main thing for you is to get out of that mode of being victimized. And as you can see, what Jesus did was he turned their words against them. He said, you already know this answer. Why are you coming to me with petty stuff? Don't come to me with petty stuff. Come to me with something intelligent. Let's have intellectual conversations that we can sit down and actually discuss some things where we can discuss saving lives and changing people's lives. And instead, you coming to me with foolishness. You already know what belongs to Caesar. You already know what belongs to God. So why would you even try to ask me, should you do this? You know the laws of the land. Obey the laws of the land. But there's a whole nother spiritual law that we also must abide by. And with the spiritual law, if you don't abide by the spiritual laws, just like you can get physical repercussions in the physical world, you can have spiritual repercussions. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. And if you're having trouble understanding what the spiritual world is, there's a message that I talked on a few years ago rather, called Green Screen Faith. And just imagine for a second that that you're living in a green screen world. Everything around you is that projected screen. Outside of that projected screen is reality in a movie setting. So when it comes to the spiritual world, just think of the normal world is the screen that we live in. Yes, it is a real world, but the spiritual world is that green screen, that stuff that you don't see, because we are engrossed into this physical world. And so what happens in the physical world when you do something wrong is there are certain actions that happen. And that's the same thing with the spiritual world. So you can't just say, just because I don't believe in this, that you just speak all willy-nilly, as my niece would say, and you would do things just for the heck of it and don't think that there's any repercussions. And just because nothing happens to you immediately does not mean that it is not held in a nice little box holding cell, waiting to be released at the appropriate time and place for you. Most people call this karma. I just call it you're reaping what you're sowing. So don't think that seeds that you plant years ago are not going to sprout out now. There's certain plants that it takes, like, not a normal process. It takes months before the harvest is ripe. And so for certain things, for some things, it may take a year for you to get things right. It is called a process. And what you're doing is you're thinking that you're skipping steps in a process. And then one day you could be just minding your business, and then bam, sudden destruction happens. But is it sudden destruction, or is it destruction that has been waiting for you to catch up to this moment so that you can experience it? And I'm gonna let you sit there and think about that, because a lot of times people plant seeds that they don't think is going to grow, and then when it grows, they're trying to figure out what's going on. But you can get out of that. You can get out of those situations by doing what is right the first time, by going back and correcting your wrongs. You can go back and save your life by just as I was saying that, I was picturing when the children of Israel, as they were leaving Egypt, painting the blood of the lamb over their doorsteps, their thresholds. And so, and what they did was they were literally protected by doing those things. And for those who didn't do it, who didn't heed the message that the Spirit was saying to the people at that time, they also suffered, just like the Egyptians suffered during that time. And so somebody could be looking right now and say, I ain't gonna do what he's saying. Like, that's just nonsense. That's fine. You don't have to. But just remember, you're gonna remember this moment. You're gonna remember this day and time where I was watching that guy named Brian, and he said that I could correct my wrongs, but instead I didn't correct my wrongs. And in that moment, you're gonna remember why you're in that situation, because it's going to pop up in your mind, and you're going to try to figure out, like, oh crap, like, it really did, that karma did hit me. I did reap what I sowed. Yes, of course, these are real things that we're talking about. These are not just play things. And so now I want to get a little bit into my note cards. And so when we're talking about getting out of things, most of it is a type of mindset. And if you don't know where to start, that's a simple enough answer. God, give me a new mindset. Give me a strategic mindset so that I can get myself out of these things. Give me the mindset that you can download instructions for me to get myself out of this situation. Sometimes God wants us to pray those type of prayers instead of, God, please get me out of this mess. God wants you to ask for strategic things. Ask for strategy. Ask for new intellect. Ask for new eyesight, for mindsight, for way of talking, for way of believing, for way of doing things. You know how they say, like, the best way to get out of a habit is to start a new habit. And then they say you got to practice that thing and do it for at least 21 days before it starts to become natural to you. Well, I mean, why not start asking God as a new habit for things that you want to change in your life? And he's going to give you the ideas. He's going to send people your way. He's going to make things flash on the TV before you. Make sure that you're in a position of receiving what he's putting out there. He's going to make sure that you hear what you need to hear at the time that you need to hear it. And I'm sure that somebody is watching this and saying, I needed to hear that. Exactly. You're at the right place at the right time in this moment for you to experience the freedom that God wants you to have. And so, for some of you, that means not thinking that you're not going to have a brighter day. You profess, man, I'm always going through something. I'm always having dark days. And you know what? You're planting yourself in dark days. Start saying that I'm believing for God. I'm believing that I'm going to have a better day. You can even start off with something simple. I believe that I'm going to have a better day. I'm going to have brighter days. Brighter days will come to you. It's just that when you slap on the name of Jesus at the end, it comes what's the word? Expeditiously to you. It comes fast. And sometimes you may not believe that it's fast, but sometimes God is doing an internal work that you may not notice until later. Because sometimes for some people, it's the way that you're thinking. How are you thinking about yourself? How are you thinking about things in your nature? Again, ask God for a new mindset and ask for strategy to get out of those things. If you've been trying to try to quit things and stop things on your own terminology and say, no, I got this. I don't need help. I'm not going to go to the doctor for this. I'm not going to go for it. And I'm mainly talking about those who refuse to go see a therapist and get mental health. First of all, stop it. Those people are professionals. They're there for you to use as a resource to help you get out of things. And so your mode of thinking is to stop thinking that other people can't help you get out of that. You've been living for how long with your own mindset trying to get you out of the hellhole that you've been in, that pit that you've been in, and you have yet to succeed. So why don't you think that somebody else can help you? Remember, people on the outside see things that you can't see. It's like the saying, you can't see the forest for seeing the trees. You're in the middle of the woods and you don't know which direction to go. But there's a helicopter that flies up ahead and they're like, hey, we see him. We see her. Hey, look up, come this way. And you're going to say, I don't want to go that way. I want to go this way. Well, hey, you going this way might mean you might get to the edge of a cliff. It also may mean that there's probably a fire coming, and instead of you walking away from the fire, you walking towards the fire. Or we can even say flood. There's a flood this way, and instead of you walking to higher ground, you walk into lower ground because you want to use your own intellect and not trust the people that can see outside of you, that can see beyond what you can see. And so even if your first words are help me help myself by trusting those that are in position to help me. Help me to understand what people are trying to tell me so that I don't take it as something negative, but I take it as something that will help me. I take it as fertilizer and not gasoline. I take it in as nutrients instead of something that is bad for me. You have to speak these different types of mindsets, because if you don't, you are doing nothing but digging yourself deeper and deeper and deeper into what you're trying to get out of. And again, the spiritual world is a free world. God is a spirit. God wants you to be free. And that's the other thing about the spirit world, is that it's so much freedom there, is that it's so scary because everything is free. You know how they're saying what they say, you freely give, you freely receive. That's how the spiritual world is. It's just like, oh, hi Bob, I just thought about you today and I want to bring you these blueberry muffins. Wow, thank you for those blueberry muffins because you know what? I was thinking about you too. And I remembered that you said that you needed an extra bed in your house. I have an extra bed. I just brought a new one. Do you want it? It's nothing wrong with it. It's no dents. It hasn't really been worn. I've had it for maybe 6 months, but I just decided to get a new bed. Yeah, I know you might not get my theatrics, but that's literally how the spiritual world is. It's like that. It's so free that it's just like everybody. The spiritual world is like giving, 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 giving what you didn't ask for, giving what you asked for, giving the seeds that you planted. It's always giving. The spiritual world is always giving something, and what that something looks like depends on you and your mindset and what you speak out of this tool. The spiritual world is like, oh, they want this. Okay, well, we'll give it to them. Oh, they want turmoil right now. Okay, well, they asked for turmoil. One order of turmoil coming to your address. I don't know what else do you want? You have to speak positively. And I know there were times, and I remember growing up and even as an adult, a younger adult, where people would say, man, you always smiling a lot. Who could be so happy all the time? I'm not sad. There's nothing sad going on in my life. And when things were said, you could tell. But if I am living in a free world, if I'm living in a world that is full of joy and peace, because that's all I prayed for when I was in college was joy and peace. And baby, when I as an adult, baby, when I tell you I have so much joy and so much peace, of course you're gonna see a smile on my face most of the time, the majority of the time that you see me, because I ask for joy and peace. And even when I don't have a smile or on my face, it doesn't mean that soon afterwards, very soon afterwards, that I won't have a smile or a joy in my life. So I embrace it all because I know that what I put out there, the spiritual world will come back and wrap that love, that joy, and that peace and say, you have given so much that now we're going to return it back to you. We're going to pour back into you what you have poured out. So again, what are you pouring out to other people? Are you pouring out stuff that is toxic and poisonous, or are you pouring in to other people blessings and peace and happiness? Because you're going to receive it back, whether or not you believe it or not. And some people have poured so much out that now they're looking at the bottom of the barrel and saying, well, will I ever get it back in return? This road has been long. Yes, roads are long, but keep pushing forward. Keep holding on. Don't get into the habit of going so long of pouring out that you forget to pour back into yourself. Because sometimes there are some of us that we have to literally pour into ourselves because we don't have anybody around us pouring into us. And so you know what? In layman's terms, they call that self-care. They call that sometimes you do have to unplug your phone. Sometimes you do have to get off the computer. Sometimes you do have to go in your room and pray or meditate. Sometimes you do need to take that vacation. Sometimes you do need to go ahead and take and get that spa treatment that you've been putting off and putting off and why are you putting it off? If your back is hurting or if something is hurting, do you not go to the doctor immediately? So when your body is yearning and straining for release, however you find your release, go do it. Don't hold yourself back from it, because what you're doing is you're putting yourself in a situation of a stupor. You're lowering yourself. You're lowering your value. You're lowering that stuff that's in you that keeps you pouring out to other people. But when you take care of yourself, you are refilling yourself so you can keep going that long mile. So you don't feel like you just pouring and not receiving, because that is tiresome. I know, because I used to do it. And then I always talk about boundaries. That's another thing about boundaries. Boundaries say, I told you I can work from 6 to 8. It is, look, it is 8:01. I'm sorry, I can't do it. Bam, the contract has been filled, baby. I am not giving you any more of my time, because I told you from 6 to 8, not to 6 to 8:01. You got me to 8, and I did what I said I was going to do. I held my word. I held my bargain. Now you hold yours. Boundaries keep you from spilling out too much. It keeps you from overextending yourself too much to where you can't pour back into yourself. Again, I learned the hard way. But and let me tell people the story. I don't know if I've ever shared this story, but there's a story about one of my great grandmothers who literally worked herself to death. Who worked, came home one day, set down her purse, and fell over dead on the floor because she worked so much. Stop working so much. It's not enough work in the world. You are not a superhero. You are not a super strength person. You don't have super endurance. You can't fly without an airplane. Now, if you can, you need to come talk to me, because I there's a few places I need to go to. But anyway, if you don't have no super human abilities, stop trying to act like that you do. And like I said, it's taken me over 30 years to feel it, because um I mean, this is another topic, but I was trying to fulfill needs and things that I didn't think that I was worthy of. I never thought that I was worthy of things. So I would overextend myself to be liked, to be noticed. And it's like, you don't have to do that when you are somebody that is already being noticed, because you've already put in the work. Why are you doing extra work? And and I can say this, there were some times when I was doing so much work and I was learning that the work didn't even seem like work, because I was just taking so much in and receiving and receiving and receiving. The thing is, everything that I received, I put back out into the community. So what I knew, the community knew. Because I realized the importance of access. When you don't have access, you feel like you restrained and restricted. And so in order to get out of that restrained and restricted mindset, I realized that I had to take what I received and give it back out. Because in doing so, I am helping to free other people. And in return, because I was pouring out freedom to people, I was becoming free, because the spiritual world was saying, oh, this baby is pouring out freedom. Whatever he needs to be freed of, we're going to free him. Whatever bondage that tries to latch himself onto it, oh, baby, we're going to protect him, because, no, he's pouring out freedom. So any snare and any trap that people try to set for me, it won't work, because I've been pouring out freedom for years and years and years, and I continue to do so. So any trap or any snare that the enemy tries to put before me, it may look like I'm going to fall for it. But right at the nick of time, I balance beam straight. And people try to figure out, like, how did he get out of this situation? How did he get out of that? Baby, because I'm blessed. And when you're blessed, you bless other people. And in return, the spiritual world bless you back for doing that thing. And because of it, I have nothing to worry about. Another thing is that happiness, that peace of mind, that feeling of worthiness. That was a mental snare that I used to have, right? So whenever I start thinking highly of myself, whenever I start loving on myself, self-caring myself more, um, that's when my thoughts started to change, because you're not going to treat me like I'm a piece of trash. I'm sorry. I don't care. My hair is like this because I washed it. And some people are probably like, boy, you need to do something to the roots. Your hair is thick. But let me tell you what I hear and what I see. Yeah, my hair needs to be done. But God gave me a healthy strength of hair, baby. I got my natural color of hair. There's no gray hair. And I'm not saying this to brag. I'm saying this to prove a point. My hair in the wintertime becomes my scarf. When I want to do something fun and funky, I put my hair in ponytails and play around, because that's the joyful spirit that lives within me. Like Willow Smith said, at times I whip my hair back and forth just because I can. But I love my locks because my locks tell a story. My locks remind me of where I've been, where I'm going, and the process. Okay. And my hair, it is something that had to grow on me, because there was a time when I didn't feel worthy, when I felt like I needed something to cover. I needed to do something, and I didn't feel right. And the bald look, my head was too big, or some of the cut styles. Try to be like everyone else, but maybe the barber run a little bit too much in the back. So now I got to wear a hat over my head, but then when I get inside, I got to take the hat off, and so I become embarrassed. And sometimes I don't know. I just didn't like my body. So I grew my hair out. And then my hair taught me how to love me even more. So now I appreciate my naps, as some people call it, which are nothing but thick curls. For people who have thick hair that can last. For people that can cut this off and give it to somebody else so that they can grow wigs. That's the type of hair I have, baby. I can grow a whole nother full head of hair for somebody else that need it. And if they need it, oh, just take, here you go. Because mine's going to grow back. Healthy head full of hair. And when you get that type of confidence in yourself, there's nothing that anybody can say or do to you. And you just be like, oh, okay. So you feeling some type of way? Well, thank you for letting me know that you really admire my hair. Thank you for letting me know that you wish you only had what God gave me. Thank you for letting me know how blessed I am today. Thank you for recognizing that my hair grows so fast that when I wash it, my full length shows how much new growth that I have, how much newness have come into my life, how much newness I now need to wrap around what was already there to make what was already there do what? Grow a little more. Thanks for letting me know how much abundance grows out of me simply because I've been taking care of myself. And for me taking care of myself It's built my confidence up. So now that when you try to use your words to destroy me, you can't, because it's impenetrable to me right now. I'm not the man of steel, but baby, my spiritual man is the man of steel. And anytime you try to hit this flesh, it's like bing, 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 bing. And when I can't do it, guess what? I got these bodyguards that surround me that say, oh, here we go again. They trying to attack him for no reason. Boom, boom, boom. And my angels are right there to protect me each and every time. And then I want to talk about patience, because some people don't. Some of you have this, I gotta. And that kind of goes along with that overextending yourself. But it's like you need to slow down sometimes. Slow down. And I took a picture of me and my dog maybe 2 weeks ago, and about how you got to stop and smell the flowers. Like you can't just always be in a rush to go nowhere. What are you rushing for? Stop and experience the life that's around you. What types of things are you missing because you're always on that? You can see my hands. Can y'all fully see my hand now? If I'm always doing this, you can't see my hands. You can't. I mean, you can see a glare and a glimpse of it, but you can't see it fully as you can now. And sometimes we have to stop and slow down. We have to get out of the habit of always trying to live in a fast-paced life. It's like that when parents tell their kids, you don't grow up too fast because you're gonna wish you were a child again. And now I'm an adult, and I'm just like, listen. In fact, I had a conversation today with a friend and her mom, and I was like, if I could, I would go back to being a baby right now with this adult mind of mine and relive life. Can I start over? and, and just do the things that I know. Like, oh, I remember, you know what? Instead of me doing this, I'm going to do this now. But see, and that's another thing with slowing down and taking things in, because but we call that temperance, making sure that it's right and balanced, right? And so what we do is we get to that stage in life where when we slow down and really see things, we can remember, oh, I remember this happened maybe a year and a half ago. And instead of me doing this, I'm going to do that. Because if I do this, I'm going to end up in that same situation again. And it goes to show that many people continue to get in the same situation over and over and over and over and over again. It's because they don't stop to think about what happened last time I did this. And then there's some that said, oh, well, I did that before, but it's okay. Maybe that won't happen this time. That's insanity. If you're going to do the same thing over and over and over again and expect a different outcome, okay, we all know that 1 + 1 is 2, right? If 1 + 1 is 2, and 1 + 1 is 2, and 1 + 1 is 2, and 1 + 1 is 2, 1 + 1 would never be 3. Unless you're pregnant. That's the only time. And when a couple has a baby, that's the only time 1 + 1 will be 3. The only time in that type of situation. But other than that, 1 + 1 will always be what? 2. And you can't change the outcome. So it's just best that you get into the habit of slowing down now. Stop trying to always speed up and do stuff. Slow and steady. What's the word? Slow and steady makes the race, or something along those lines. Y'all know what I'm saying. I heard it and then it left me. But you gotta slow and steady wins the race. Thank you. So you have to move slow and steady, because, and it's not so much as you running slow as in taking your dear sweet grandmother time. No, slow mean you're slowing down. It's that like stop before you speak type of situation. It's like you assessing everything before you move, but you can still keep the same pace. Okay. I can keep the same pace because I see everything I need to do. I see everything I need to dodge. I see all the conversations I need to stay out of. I see all the situations that other people are going through. And if they're over there and they're still in that mess, I'm not gonna go over there to it. I'm gonna go the other way. Prime example. So there is this joke in the Black community that we say, like, all the white people in the horror stories, they're always getting killed because they're always running towards um, the face of danger. They start shooting, everybody running this way. They're like, oh my gosh, what's going on? So there's this joke. But on Instagram, there was it was either, well, I saw it on Instagram, but it's on TikTok. This little girl was coming, and there was like this little cave, and her parents were trying to take her to. It was like not really a cave, but it was like a mound that was made out of sticks. And so she was walking in, and she got right to the door. She said, "No, no, 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 no." And it's like, and I responded. I said, "Now, see, sis had the right reaction. I am not going to a place that is scary. No, ma'am. So stop running towards people that are full of drama. If you see that a person is full of drama, if you see that there are a group of people and they always constantly have something going, why are you running there to them? You should be like, no, 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 not today. No, 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 no. I mean, and we all have somebody that we know that is always filled with drama. And until that person learns how to get out of that drama and stop that foolishness, beware of the drama. Beware of all the unnecessaries that you don't have to put yourself into. Get out of the habit of trying to always be in the place to be if the place to be is full of hypocrisy. Okay? Like that's not a place that you want to be if you're trying to grow. Do you see billionaires saying, "Oh, I want to be just like the poor man that lives outside of my building. I'm going to hang out with him and I'm just going to sit out on the curb and I'm just going to eat out the trash can." No, they surround themselves with other billionaires because billionaires build each other up. Iron sharpens iron. And if you're trying to do something better, you can't hang around the trash. And I'm saying it like that for a reason because that's what it is. It's trash. And if you can help your brother or sister get out of the trash, if they are willing to get out of the trash, help them up and help them out. But if they are not trying to get up out of their trash, if they would rather wallow in the mud like a pig, so be it. Let them do it, but walk away because you don't need any mud on your perfectly all white suit. Okay, you don't need you don't need your pleasantries stained by things that it didn't need to be stained by. The only stains that you should have are the stains from your expensive foods that you're going on, expensive trips. Oh man, I had the best time of my life. I went to Dubai and I had this bad white suit on, but I was in a place full of kings and princess and queens and billionaires and millionaires, people all over the world. And you know what? They had this trapeze artist that was in there, and she went up and she hit something, and that somebody's drink spilled on my clothes. But you know what? I ain't even mad about it because that was an $1,800 bottle of whatever they was drinking. Now, how many people can say they had $1,800 worth of anything spilt on their fine threads and they're not mad about it? Because why would you be mad about something that you could easily replace? Because when you're in a position of of I hear high expectancy, We're in a position of high expectancy and high returns and highness, like liftedness, joy, and peace. You don't worry about the mundane things because your mind is so set. Oh man, this ain't nothing. I can go pick me up another one because I got another 4.5 million hitting my check now. But the only way you get to that place is by letting the trash go, by letting dead things go, by letting people go, by shaking the dead feathers off my eagle. Pluck out them dead feathers so that you can soar, because it's only dead weight holding you down to remain in the trash and the mud. Another thing, some of y'all out here go to church, and I'm gonna just tell it like it is. And I know somebody saying, this ain't church service. I know, but pay your tithes. People, pay your tithes. If it's the last little bit of anything in your wallet, I would rather give it to God than to give it to somebody else that's not going to bless me. God is a guaranteed blessing. And he may not give it back to you monetarily, but he might give it to you in a situation. So whatever situation you find yourself in, he might have an open door, somebody already there waiting for you to bless you. Oh, I heard you spent your last dime. But I'm sorry to hear that, but you know what? I was thinking about you the other day and I picked up all these things for you. So here, I just want to give it to you. And maybe hopefully this can bless you. And baby, it could be the very thing that you in need of, that you was like, I'm gonna hold this money for because I need to get X, Y, and Z. But by you paying your tithes, somebody else has already bought X, Y, and Z for you and say, here you go. So now you don't even have to spend your coin on X, Y, and Z. All you get to do is live off the blessings that God has given you. And you can't be so high-minded on your coin either to say, I ain't gonna get it. If you feel like you're in a place where you give me your tithes, but God ain't blessing you, then baby, you need to check out what type of soil you planting into. And that's another story, and that's another topic too. But you listen, because you can't plant your seed into all kinds of soil. You need to know what kind of soil you planting into. If everybody in this going to a church and everybody is struggling, and I mean everybody is struggling, then baby, you need to get out and you need to find somebody where where the feast of the Lord is there, where the table is spread with a name that says, welcome to our table. Eat at this table. Get all that you want. Eat up so much that you get your fill. And make sure you take your doggy bag home. That's the type of ministry that you need to be in. And I'm sorry to say, well, no, I'm not sorry to say this, but there are some ministries that are just, it's a whole lot of ministries popping up. But you know what? They're not being fruitful. And so they're continuing that struggle bubble. And a ministry should never be in a struggle bubble. I'm not saying that there will not be hard times. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that when there is a ministry, when you have put your assets into a building fund, what God does is he takes that bread and he breaks it like the bread, the 5 loaves and the fish. He breaks it and he multiplies it. And if you're not seeing that happen in your ministry and happening in the lives of the saints, then baby, you need to go back to the table and say, hey, what are we doing wrong that we are not able to feed our sheep? What are we doing that we can't live prosperous? We have to get out of bondage because those things restrict us. They restrict how we think, how we believe, how our faith moves, how we talk, and we have to get out of that. Another thing, the last point is I want to go back to the scripture where it says, teacher, Moses gave us a law that if a man's brother died, leaving a wife but no child, the man must marry the widow and raise up offspring for his brother. We have to get out of taking on other people's burdens because of we bonded ourselves to some things. We said, oh, I would do this. And if you can't do it, just tell them, I can't do this. I know I promised, but I can't do that. Not at this time. Get out of it. Don't hold yourself to something don't hold yourself to a dead thing where you know it's not going to happen, where you know it's not going to prosper. Because it only gets you into the habit of just going around in circles and people not believing your word because people can't trust your word because you talk a lot, but you don't do a lot. You can't produce a lot. Let me get up for a second because I think my battery's running out on one of my computers. So give me a second, people. I'm back. I hope you had time to think about what I was saying while I was gone briefly. Because a lot of times people say, I know I don't need to go over there because every time I go over there, I get sick. But I told this person that when X, Y, and Z happen, I'ma always do, and and guess what? You're gonna always be sick. You're gonna always be sick and tired of going over there. You're gonna always be complaining about something because you are bonding yourself to something that is dead. And we have to get out of that situation. You can get out of it by simply saying, you know what, this is becoming too much for me. I can no longer do this. I know I said I wanted to do this. And believe me, I want to do this. I just can't. And for those that know your heart, they will understand. You're just not in the position right now to do this. I understand, my brother. I understand, my sister. It's fine. I know that when you are at that place to do what you said, that you're going to do it. I know that. And for those who don't know that about you, and if they try to hold that over your head, then baby, that's one of those dead weights that need to fall off. Because they're going to always try to keep you in a place of bondage. And anybody that keeps you in a place of bondage is not worth being in your life, period. If someone can't stand to see you succeed, if someone can't stand to watch you get blessed, if someone can't be in your corner and root you on from afar, and you're doing the dream that they had, baby, you need to let them go because that is jealousy in life form. They are showing you what a jealous person is. They are showing you what that crab in the bucket mentality is. They want to drag you down with them because misery loves company. And you have to let go. We have to get out of the habit of trying to keep people in our lives that don't want to be kept, that don't want to grow with us. Many people can go with us, but not many people can grow with us. We can all go to the same place, and get different things. Prime example is school. I look back and there's so many of my classmates. Well, actually, I can't say that because I'm partial to the class of 2003, and baby, we out here doing the thing. Everybody who graduated class of 2003, I'm trying to tell you, even the ones who started out not doing things, they are now doing things. Hey, it takes people longer than others to do things, but baby, we out here doing things. But there are other people that I know that aren't doing things. And it's like, don't let your highest ability be where it's easy. Press yourself to do something different. Press yourself to do better. Because the more you press yourself to do something better, the better you become. The better your life becomes. And all you got to do is press forward. And what I was saying is that there are some things in what school has taught me, and what I'm looking at the laws of people, and I'm just like, now we all went to the same school, we had the same teachers, we had the same education, but we applied it to our lives differently. And you're here, you're there, she's here, he's there, and I'm here, and all of our lives look different. The playing field was kind of equal. I know there's somebody out there saying not all education was equitable. I know that. But what I'm saying is that for those that went to the same high school and got the same education, we got the same education, but it's how did you apply what you learned? How did you apply what spirit was saying to you? How did you apply what I'm saying to you tonight? How are you going to apply that to your life? Because there are going to be some people that listen to this message and the light bulb is going to go off, and they're going to start doing those things and their life is going to improve. And then there's some of you that's going to watch or that may be on live right now and you're not. You know that this is a good message, but you're not, because maybe you're not there yet. But just know that at some point I need you to apply this to your life. And then there's some that's going to skip over and hear a little bit and leave and mosey on and not do the instructions. But that's fine, because eventually they're going to have to grow. They're going to have to get the same message again and apply it to their life so that they can get better, so that things in their life can get better. And if they don't, then they're just going to die in a low place that was never meant for them. One of the things that I can say about the children of Israel when they were in Egypt is that they were in that mindset of bondage so bad that when Moses was sent to free them, they couldn't see freedom as they should, because they were so concerned about what they had learned. And I know this is kind of like one of those oxymoron types of things, because I was just talking about learning, but they had taken in that lowly way of life, that lived experience that taught them that they were nothing but slaves, and they continued it throughout those 40 years. And if you know anything, you find out later that they was literally walking in the desert in a circle. Really? Y'all was walking in a circle for 40 years and refused to change your mindset. Come on. Don't live your life in a low place for 40 more years. That by the time it's your time to take your last breath, the only thing that you can remember and the only thing that you can think about is how hard you struggled and how bad you wanted to experience freedom. Get out now. What are you waiting for? Who are you waiting for? You have to sometimes do things for yourself, even in a relationship. If your other half is refusing to grow, you gotta grow. And if you just so happen to grow out of them and away from them, then so be it. Or when you start growing, it may inspire your spouse. Oh, well, babe, I like that. Now, what are you doing again? Help me do that. And so now your whole household is growing because you took the initiative to start growing on your own. You never know who you're going to inspire by you taking the actions to grow yourself. So get out of the habit of staying stooped in that low place and get into the habit of thinking highly of yourself, of thinking positive things, of embracing joy when there's sorrow, of embracing peace when there's turmoil, when there's hell all around you. Center and focus in on peace. You have to center yourself. And one thing that I have loved doing ever since I was a kid was meditating. I was meditating before I even knew what meditating was. And that's how I know it works. That's how I know that meditation works, because meditation, you release everything that is holding you down. And when you get up, you just free. You are so free. And I meditate. I know there's some people that meditate with quietness, but I love music. Music is in, I tell people sometimes I think music is my DNA. Like, I love music that much. I don't care what it is. I love music. And music brought me out of a lot of depression when I was a teenager. My mom can, if you have a conversation, my mom can tell you there were times when I would lock myself in my room. Nothing was, well, there were some things wrong, but I would just lock myself in my room. I wasn't on punishment. I would go to my room, lock myself in my room, listen to music for hours upon hours, and go to sleep. And then when I got older, I would listen to music, and I actually started exercising. I called it dancercising because I love to dance too. Um, and I would dance from like 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. straight, because I was, whatever I had packed on for that day, all of a sudden I needed to release. And yes, that's not meditation, but it's also proven that with certain movement you can release things by just moving. And some people, and I tell, there are often times when I tell people, that's in my age group, I'm not sharing my age, but I look good for my age. Don't get twisted. Hey, but hey, I'm just saying, I say I get on my knees sometimes and just crawl, because I know that I need to utilize my knees. And when we're children, we crawl a lot. When we're younger, our limbs, we have to use those muscles, because if you don't use those muscles, what they're gonna do? Lock up on you. And that's why a lot of people say, "Oh, I got bad knees." No, baby, you need to get back and start crawling on those knees. You need to start bending those muscles. You need to start stretching and get into the habit of loosening those joints. Because just like you loosen those joints when you was a kid, you still gotta loosen those joints, baby. Like those bad knees is because you're not moving them. You going through aches and pains because you have gotten into that habit of staying complacent, and complacency hardens you. It hardens your situation. It hardens your life physically, or in this case, literally hardens your life. And so that's the problem with complacency. And the only way to move and continue to move in a pace that is reasonable to you is that you got to flex those muscles. You have to stretch. You have to stretch your faith and flex your faith. You have to flex the new positive things and way you're going to think, talk, and see things. I see bad situations as opportunities for God to work his stuff, his blessings. They say, some people say his mojo, but whatever. In order for God to do what he need to do. Oh, you have the space to bless me all you want to, all you need to. Because right now I can't do it. And the only way for me to get through this is I'm going to need it from you. So get into the habit of getting out of stuff that doesn't serve you well, that don't have you at your best self, because I guarantee you're going to feel so much better free. And now for the song that I was humming earlier. And it's a worldly song. But all of a sudden I was singing, get out right now. It's the end of you and me. It's too late. I can't wait for you to be gone. And now I know, the lyrics say about her, but, and now I know the truth. So I am going to leave. I'm going to pack my things and be gone. That's just a little ad lib. But you got to go. You got to get out. You don't stay stuck. Don't stay in that same mindset. Don't continue to eat those things that's bad for you. If you know you like to eat fried chicken Sunday to Sunday, 365 days, and they saying that your arteries are clogged, baby, put some of that chicken on the grill. And if you don't know how to do it, I know somebody's uncle, brother, best friend, mother, auntie know how to throw that chicken on the grill and make it good. And if you in Greenville, North Carolina, y'all better go to Bees. And if you can't cook like Bees, baby, put that piece of chicken on the grill, get you some Bees sauce, and then put it on top of it afterwards. And that's some blessed sauce. You hear me? Yeah, shout out to Bees Barbecue in the 252. But I'm just saying, there's more than one way of doing some things. But it takes that initial self of getting out of what you're used to and into. And so on that note, I am going to end tonight's message, Get Out. And I'm going to leave you with this simple words. Whenever you find yourself in a struggle, start professing, I see myself getting out of. I am seeing myself getting out of. Thank you, Spirit, for guiding me to get out of. Thank you, Spirit, for guiding me out of. Because when you start professing those things, the spiritual world unlocks. Because remember, like I said earlier, they said, oh, well, this person wants tomorrow, we're going to give them tomorrow. When you say, I see myself getting out of lack, I thank you, Spirit, for getting me out of lack. Watch how abundant your life becomes. Whatever your lack is in, watch it become so abundant. You'll be like, what? How that happen? Because you're speaking those things out. You're getting yourself out of it by speaking your way out of it. So you all have a blessed night. Take hold to these seeds, plant them in fertile soil, and watch how they bless you Watch how they increase you. Okay. So you all, be blessed. Until next time. Bye bye.